Hey guys, I am coming to you from our bandwagon here. I'm gonna see if my phone will stay standing, leaned against the cribbage board and a pillow. But I'm hanging out on our bandwagon today in Richmond, Virginia. Excited to play tonight on the Brothers Osborne tour. But I just want to take a minute and say hi and tell you guys a little bit more about Villain in Me. Thank you so much for listening to it and seeing your stories, and just you guys sharing this song has been such a wild and wonderful thing. It's really hard to put into words because the song is the most personal thing and that I've put out to this point, and that really did terrify me, and just seeing you guys being so encouraging and feeling like I'm not the only one who's felt this way has been the greatest comfort, so thank you for that. I wrote this song in the heart of probably the darkest time for me during the pandemic. I think we all kind of like rode the waves of it, and this song came out of a really low spot for me of spending some time alone and having way too much time to process thoughts about my darker side and the more kind of vulnerable and uncomfortable things that I'm usually really good at just kind of running from. It was like, hey, I think you should sit down and really talk about this and think about it for a minute. And, you know, songwriting is something, it's like writing to me is something that I just trust the music. I always have. And it's like, I always feel like the song and the music knows where it's supposed to go, and I'm just trying to kind of hold on and keep up most of the time. And for this song, I think I was digging my heels in. Like, I could feel the drag marks in the sand on the beach that was like, we don't need to go there with this song, do we? Is this really what we're gonna say in this lyric? And this song has been a wrestle the whole time, but I wrote this over Zoom with my friend Alex Hope. We'd never met in person before writing the song, and we got together and started talking, and, you know, I had this title in my phone about the villain in ourselves, and as we kept writing this, I was like, oof, this feels like dangerously true, but I just went with it and wrote the song, turned it in, and was like, oh, this is too personal, I'm not thinking too much about the song. And then it really just kind of kept calling at me, and it's really felt so good to put it out, because I think my whole life is kind of like, you know, you're just supposed to be happy and grateful and smiling and look at the brighter side of things, which is important to do. I really do believe that. But it's not the only way. It's not the only side of being human. You know, I think kind of embracing the truth that sometimes I get off stage and it's like the biggest high to get to hang out with you guys up there and just feel the joy of the music, and like, what a moment. My head is the quietest when I'm up there making music and sharing that with you guys. And then I get off and I come back on this bandwagon and I sit by myself for a minute, and I'm just like thinking of all the things that I could have done better, or what I messed up with, or what I missed. And it's like, you know, the first line of the song talks about, let's see, it goes, pulls back the hero, knows exactly where to start. The weak spot in the armor that cuts straight to the heart. And I really think that's true. I do think it's like an arrow, you know? I kind of imagine this personified literal villain of myself that just exists inside somewhere, and it's just like knows the trigger spots, knows the words that are like that send me down those dark spirals. And it's so sad and hard to sit at the bottom of those steps. And I think I spent a lot of time over these past couple years down that staircase, and still I'm in the middle of figuring out sometimes how to get back up towards the light, you know? And yeah, very much still in the middle of figuring that out. But the pre-chorus, I remember Alex and I were both Harry Potter fans, and we were trying to make the music feel like that spot where, you know, for any of fellow Harry Potter fans, the Dementors come and they like just literally bring the light right out of you. It's like, and ends in this tiny little ball of light that's just floating in the air, and everything goes quiet and it's just so dark. It's like, And the clouds roll over, temperature drops as it gets closer, and it all goes quiet, too quiet. I really think that's what it feels like sometimes. It's just like the brighter side of ourselves are just vacuumed so far away, and it's hard to remember how to get back to that. And I think talking about it for me has been such a helpful thing in that. It's like, oh, right, maybe like, you know, admitting it or just mentioning that I'm struggling or that I need help from the people around me. It's like, seems like the hardest possible thing to do, but it's really the most helpful, I think, and important thing. So, that's the pre-chorus. And then we just kind of kept following the song and thinking about the long list of things about ourselves we want to change. It's like, I think we all have those voices in our heads, and I really do think that's a part of being human, and that's okay. It's okay to be sad sometimes. It's okay to doubt yourself, and then it's okay to kind of get up off of that step, and whatever it takes to, you know, remember that the light does still exist is, I don't know, I think it's a really important thing. But you guys have just given me so much courage being able to really talk about this and kind of articulate it in a different way for the first time in my life. So I'm really grateful for that, and thank you for listening to this song and to my ramble here on the Bandwagon. I think I'll play you a little bit more of the chorus, and I hope everybody has a really good rest of their day out there, and sending a hug to anybody who needs it. We can just sit on the bottom of that staircase together, and we'll just be there, and it'll be okay. Alright, here we go. And it all goes quiet, too quiet. The voice that I don't want to hear, the hurtful words I say, the long list of things about myself I want to change, the heavy cloud that won't leave even after it rains. Try to be a hero till it brings me to my knees. Yeah, there's a village